So I do definitely want to make my picks. Some of them today. Okay, I think my stream's up now too. Sweet. Um. Okay, cool. So let's look back on this a little bit. It is hard to tell, even if you go back in time. It's hard to tell for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think where I'm really getting hung up on it right now to really make sure. I don't know. I feel like I'm really trying to think of it from a larger like social psychology standpoint of who do I think other people are going to want to support and invest in. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to look out for one of my big pulls for Canada was just geography of like assuming that all Canadian players or a chunk of Canadian players will try to support Canada if they're already like a sport fan, a baseball fan. They'll already be, even if they live in Vancouver, they'll already be used to cheering for the Blue Jays maybe, you know. Pardon? For you. Yeah, that's true. But I think a lot of my research is going to take place on like the Reddit here and stuff. Looking at like who has the most momentum behind them after week 1 sort of thing to see like I'm not gonna lie. In looking at this already, I've already considered. Like I went through the introduction of the moderators and stuff. Did you see that like presentation thing? The moderators on the Discord, I think it was. It's like I don't know, man. You part of you almost wants to root for whoever seems like they would have the most fun Discord going all the time, or who would be the most active leader of a team, or something like that. Um, but mm, the witch chart. What was on trial? Okay. Here, give me 1 sec.
Yeah, sure.
I want to listen, but I don't know. Wait,
Here,
can
give
you
me
keep
one
talking?
sec. Yeah, sure. Testing.
I want to listen.
Sure. Writing with.
Wait,
Sure.
can you
Writing
keep talking?
Yeah, sure. Testing.
There we go.
Sure.
I want to listen.
Sure. Let's write a shitty picture.
Sorry about that. I think my audio might not have been going through to all the way to the stream. I was just seeing my audio input wasn't on collecting from Discord, I think. Um oh well. So sorry, what were you saying there? On the You're on
I'm
the
trying to
wiki?
remember what team it was, but it was something to do with the commissioner came into the Discord and was like, "Listen, this player is sad. If you keep talking about bones, they will." And like, I think the discussion was like this Discord had like a history of discussing Oh, that was it. It was called Bone Course. And Bone Course was like if they discuss how everything is made up of bones, or how it could be made up of bones. That, like, as nonsensical as it sounds. Um, so the commissioner came in and said, "Listen, this player is saying that if you keep talking about bones, they will die." And then the Discord channel kept talking about bones, and the player did die. And then now there's a murder case against that Discord channel.
Oh.
So all the users in the Discord channel are on trial for murder. The murder of one of the players.
Interesting. Because they didn't heed that warning.
Yeah, because they were aware that continuing the discourse about bones was going to kill this player, and they did it anyway.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh. See, this is the chapter I haven't gotten into yet. Are like the class action lawsuits and those sorts of things, which will undoubtedly impact the season. I don't have a good grasp of what those are right now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna.
Yeah, because you have the entities, right? Like you have the gods. Here, I'm looking at it. The ticker is the commissioner is like the head. The shelled one was a giant peanut that like turns people into peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when everybody got the stat of whether or not they were allergic to peanut.
Have you gotten all the way through podcasts from in the past and stuff? From like podcasts or videos or anything?
No, I want to keep doing that podcast though, because like a lot of the information I'm retaining seems to be from that podcast.
You should shout it out. Which one was it?
It was Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
They discuss statistics. I don't know. Everything's got an L in it. Blaseball.
Statistics.
There's love for the game. I love Blaseball. All that shit.
Yeah. Okay. Latest announcement. Right, so the wiki's pulling back a bit.
Pulling back?
Oh, there's a section on the announcements here about how for the new era of baseball, there's a few announcements. We're going to take back from being the primary record-keeping organizers of Blaseball.
Oh, yeah.
They would spend every week. Yeah, like we were talking about managing this page and stuff, and so I guess if it is unrelated to the project itself, this is a huge undertaking.
And it probably tied in heavily with the like the API of the old website, which is going to be all different. Like grabbing the stats from the old website probably worked one way, and now like everything's probably broken.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Let's see. Let's try to make some bets here today. This is one too. I need to keep up with the messages. What did we have? What are the new ones? Quick hits. We're more than halfway through the regular season, and returns keep coming. Here are the top 3 headlines from day 3. Did you get through all this stuff?
No, I'm gonna do that right now.
The black hole appears to have called an electoral mulligan, belching out a new Open the Forbidden Book decree alongside new Redistribute Wealth and new relegation. So I did look into relegation being at the end of the season. If a team doesn't make it, then they're gone. Redistribute Wealth being at the end of the I believe the entire season, maybe not just this week, but at the end, whoever wins, I guess it would be this season, whichever team wins is disbanded, which is an interesting, or their whole team is blown apart. So that's an interesting thing. I don't know Forbidden Book Decree. I haven't seen that yet. In a shocking move, ILB Commissioner and Legal Notary Parker McMillan, love a good Parker.
Yeah.
Parker McMillan, the what is this? The sixth or fifth, but in incorrect Roman numerals. Are you seeing this?
No, I'm trying to log into it right now, but
Oh, okay. Appears to have taken a side in the debate over the forbidden decree, taking to official leak channels to urge voters to do it again. Interesting. See, this is where I need to be making notes. I feel like this puzzle's coming together slowly.
yeah.
Appears to have taken a side in the debate over the forbidden decree, urging voters to do it again.
The Forbidden Book was the first big decree. I think that's the one that allowed players to be killed.
I see. Okay. Inclement weather continues to plague the ILB. What is that? The Internet League of Blaseball, as a total of 29 star players have crashed back into play, and the whereabouts of all but 6 are unknown. Thanks, beat reporter. Oh, interesting. Don't do it again.
Blaseball.
So this was Parker McMillan is the one who said do it again, but they made the title don't.
Don't do it again. Yeah, the misreporting by beat reporter saying Parker is saying do it again.
Yeah.
Like, urge voters to, quote, do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Complete.
Beat reporter, questionable in this whole thing. Are we seeing inclement play impact? Oh, the games are over for now.
How you doing for coin?
Right now, I'm at 503. I've only done bets for, and I threw 12 here, so I'm a little over 500. How about you?
This morning I was a little over 700.
Wow. Just doing like a couple, you're just tossing a couple on mech every time?
Yeah, well, Mac and like safe bets. Gotta know when to fold them.
No. Get away from me with that.
But know when to hold them.
Try to go big. Spy.
Yeah, so the Forbidden Book? Inseparably intertwined with the past, present, and futures of the sport, baseball. Contains 6 chapters, each chapter containing a number of rules pertaining to the sport. Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. So this is what happened the first time the book was opened. So the book was opened, a solar eclipse happened, which is like a new type of weather. Empire's eyes turned white. Star player Jalen Hotdog Fingers is incinerated. Hellmouth swallows the Moab desert, and the Discipline Era begins. And the Discipline Era is the first era of like 12 seasons.
Oh, I see. Okay. Wait. So then, what exactly did the book do, though? Wait, I missed that then.
So the book did all that, like the decree of opening the book, Forbidden Book, did like those following things. So the book opened, solar eclipse happened, which meant like for an entire season, it was dark, so it was harder to pitch and throw and things like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Umpires, is this just the plural of umpire? No, umpire, right?
Umpires.
That's just the plural of it. It's got
Yeah.
two S's.
Then it's umpiress, which would be like an heiress or a princess.
Yeah.
It's probably a female umpire, is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's an actual thing. I think they're making that a thing, an
Yeah.
umpiress.
Yeah. Generic umpires. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so umpire's eyes turned white. Star player Jalen Hot Dog Fingers is like one of, I think, the most famous player, because Jalen Hot Dog Fingers is the one that was incinerated and then came back from the dead. Play.
Came back from the dead.
If I remember right. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, she's also the first known player to have died twice.
To die twice, eh?
Mm.
For now.
Yeah,
Let's
so
see
far.
what you can do. It's so deep. I can't imagine. Upkeeping that wiki must be something else, because you're consolidating information from all over, right? It's a Discord, it's Reddit, like you're saying, like the lore, like it's kind of generating as the weeks go by.
Yeah.
There's a lot to follow.
It's multiple like Twitter accounts. It's not like one Twitter account.
Mm-hmm. How are your voting tokens doing right now?
I haven't been touching them too much. 87.
Okay, yeah, I got 62.
I don't think I'm going to vote for the book, though.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay, I think... Let me see. Yeah, the book seems... I don't know, man. There's so much to learn already, but it's kind of fun. The chaos is fun.
Yeah, I feel like kind of like a historian. Like I'm like doing research on like a history.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
I felt this way when I was looking up like the Forgotten Realms stuff too. Like it was kind of neat to be like a historian of the Forgotten Realms. It's like this era that never actually happened.
The Forgotten Realms, would that be like Wizards of the, like D&D stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the setting that's like most common in Dungeons and Dragons, but there's like tons of book series by different authors and video games and stuff like that, all set in the same setting.
Right. Right.
Which is really cool, right? Like if you think about Tolkien, like Tolkien is just one person who did that setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you end up with like a core story in the setting, and the setting sort of all supports that one core story.
Yep.
Right? Like at the end of the day, it's the story of the Lord of the Rings, and the setting exists for the sake of the Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
But with Forgotten Realms, because so many authors have written in it, the setting is sort of its own thing. And there's not one story that's like the Forgotten Realms story. I mean, you can argue it that the creator has his story, and that's like the main one. But like on the different areas of the Forgotten Realms, main stories are happening because other authors wrote books about that area.
Was it also then from the Forgotten Realms, like from that franchise or whatever, from them? Or you just mean over the time, like the community has come up with side stories that fit that world? Like they're not formal, what would you call that? They're not like...
they're kind of like fan.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be acknowledged by the... Is it Wizards of the Coast that has that?
Well, that's the thing. It's not. So Wizards of the Coast, I think, uses it, but it's not. It's actually created by a guy called Ed Greenwood, who lives in North York, and is like a librarian in North York now.
He currently lives in North York? How do we meet this guy?
He wrote a series of books about a character named Elminster, whatever. This guy, look at him. He's like the OG wizard.
And he's the one who developed the whole world of the Forgotten Realms, or the whatever you. What do you call that? in that world, is it like a plane? Is it a universe? Is it a world?
Yeah, there's
Forgotten
been
Realms. It's a
things. I think it's
realm.
just
The Forgotten
yeah,
Realms.
like you could call it anything, but I think it's yeah. I would maybe go with the universe because
Hmm.
you think like the Marvel universe. The yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the Marvel universe.
Well, for people, or there's a word for people who like come up with these too. That was really interesting. I found it a while ago, um,
Cool
but
kids.
yeah, so he wrote like R.A. Salvatore. Do you know that author?
No.
He's written like he's a really prolific fantasy writer. He's written like hundreds of books.
Okay.
Every time you're in like a fantasy section of a bookstore, you see like like 2 dozen or 3 dozen of his books. But all his books are also set in the Forgotten Realms.
Hmm. Okay.
The games, Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Neverwinter Nights, all these games are set in the Forgotten Realms. Like their stories take place in that setting.
Okay.
So you get like a lot of like, yeah, you get a lot of stories where like the character, like Neverwinter Nights takes place in one city in Forgotten Realms, but it's a whole story. So you get like a whole plot playing out just
Hmm.
in like one tiny city on the map.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You end up with this like much more like tapestry of histories across the whole thing. So it's fun to sort of research.
What's it? Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I don't want to derail it too much here, and we can not talk about it here if we're like streaming or whatever too. But like, for what you're talking about in one of the projects that I know you've got on the go right now is developing a D&D campaign for us involving us being maybe a bit more stationary or having a home base. Is that in the Forgotten Realms? Like, are you placing it there?
Yeah, loosely it's Forgotten Realms. So like I'm changing a few little things, which is common, but
Mm-hmm.
just in terms of like the map and stuff, um, so I can like generate my own map a little bit of the area.
Mm-hmm.
But it's set in Forgotten Realms
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in Zambia.
And I think the way you're doing it probably requires you to do more research on lore, like outside of whatever location you pick, right? It's not like we're gonna be traveling to a destination, maybe that
Yeah,
where then we just have to know about that. Like the way you're kind of doing it, maybe involves characters coming from all over the place and being a part of, like having
yeah.
their own
Although
stories.
things you play, so this is like the Forgotten Realms map.
Yeah.
A lot of what people play is on the Sword Coast, which is like this area right here, right on the coast.
Okay.
So, like for example, up here, Neverwinter. That's where the game Neverwinter Nights takes place.
Okay.
Um, Waterdeep is another series of games. I think Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
is somewhere further north, even.
Yeah.
Um, oh no, here's Baldur's Gate. So Baldur's Gate's just another city, and like the games take place there. R.A. Salvatore's books take place in mostly in the Underdark, which is actually under this. Our campaign is going to take the last campaign we did. Remember what Westgate?
It was also in near the forest, Gulfmere
Yeah,
Forest. Yeah, it was Westgate. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So because you travel east to Westgate,
yeah.
and then this campaign is going to take place here, Zambia.
Um, again, like I don't want to get too derailed, but I am thinking about like I'm now you got me thinking a bit about your other game a little too. Of there was an idle game I'm gonna send you later, or not idle, but it's kind of it's a mobile game that was trending right now, and I think it has a pretty interesting interface for the game that you were talking about earlier. I'll tell you about it later
Okay.
because it's kind of got like almost like a rim worldy, like how many resources are you going to attribute to a task at a given time to make sure that the economy continues to grow. So they do it by attributing like a worker or whatever. But that's it's an interesting map, and I can keep up with it a little bit from the few times we played. But you never got into the idle Forgotten Realms game. There's one on
No.
Steam, like a free one.
Yeah.
That's because
We got hit.
it's yeah, as an idle game, it's like pretty dull, and I don't know, the puzzle's kind of fun at the beginning, but it introducing characters from like all over that map and different abilities and techniques and the lore and stuff is deep because it's from Forgotten Realms. Like it's an official game, and so
so you're going to get a lot of the characters that are
like the iconic characters. And they're made, a lot of the characters that they will introduce are actually generated from like the community as well. So they like introduce characters who were run by you know what I'm doing here? The Role. What's that podcast called? Critical Role.
Critical Role.
So I think like a couple of their characters got introduced to the game and stuff, which is neat because it just kind of, it was keeping me up because as you were walking through the map, I was remembering some of it because I was like, oh yeah, I kind of did some quests there back when I played that a few years ago. So
it makes some shared universe, right? Which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, the game itself was a bit. Maybe I'll try it again if we're gonna start getting into that a little bit more. Yeah, because so the blessing side of just taking a look at the votes again for the election, the blessings would be for your team at the end of the week. So that's the one I don't want to spend for sure. Forbidden Book. Did you vote on any of these?
Yeah, I voted on new relegation, I think.
Okay.
At the end of every season, the last place team's roster will be replaced.
Are you noticing too that like I think the background of this is developing into something. I don't think they're the same every time. Oh, maybe they are, but they definitely mean something.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is just a close-up of the top corner of that book. Oh, these are just a section of that image. That's what it is. Okay. Look at this one. It just says yeet. Send your team's worst player into the black hole and receive a random player back. Just yeet it.
Which one is that?
It's a blessing that's available. Second row, first one for me. Okay. People are pretty upset with the interface, huh? Right now?
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable. From it, you know what it reminds me of is what was that Pokemon game? That makes me so mad still. Pokemon Go. It's like they had the best game in the world, but interface-wise, it was like the worst experience. It was clunky and poorly designed, and it was like you have literally the biggest audience in the world, and your game is like just a few buttons. Like how is this so bad? Like money is just pouring in. Make it better. You guys are Google. You have all the resources.
And now they haven't changed the interface that much. From what I'm like, now they're kind of, that's the thing is like if you start with a rough one, a tough design, it's hard to come back. Like it's tough for you to change your entire user interface halfway through.
And I definitely understand that, but like they were big enough that they could afford to make some changes. Like the thing is, they have as many features as something like Facebook, and Facebook has changed their design a few times, but they had as many users for sure. Like they were just like boring users.
Niantic dropped a different one, an NBA game that's also similar. I saw. Did you see that one at all?
No, I know they. I'm pretty sure they did the Harry Potter one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa.
was it not them?
I assume it is just because of how similar it is, but I don't actually remember for sure that that's the case. But yeah, like between Ingress, Pokemon Go, Harry Potter, and the NBA thing, like this style of game has covered every genre.
Yeah,
So once they have the data of like which is the most lucrative, we're gonna see a lot more of whatever the heck it was.
yeah. So is it
Pokemon would
gonna
be
be
hard to replicate though. There's not really much else that would be like that, I don't think.
like maybe like I don't even think Marvel would hit that.
I'm waiting for freaking Wizards of the Coast or Forbidden like this sort of thing. Like I don't get how there's not already just a fantasy character builder.
Not by them, but like by other ones for sure.
Yeah,
There's
like if you've already got these locations and these monuments flagged in throughout cities and stuff like that, just, and pop-up quests and battles or whatever, like I don't get why there isn't an individual player developer sort of one. I guess that's kind of the Harry Potter one is a lot like that. Um,
but like I always feel like there's a big difference between like Harry Potter lore or fantasy and something like Lord of the Rings. Like those are the two sort of big differences, right? Like you have Tolkien-esque fantasy or Tolkien-esque fantasy,
mhm.
and then you have like academia fantasy. And Harry Potter is very much like academia.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like stay in one place. It all happens in the school, and like
yeah,
those are the two. Like to me, those are the two big ones because you have adventures going on in adventures. So that's D&D. That's Lord of the Rings. That's um, uh, Game of Thrones, right? Like that's a lot of traveling and stuff like that. And then you have like that new Wednesday Addams show. You have um, My Hero Academia on the anime side. You have Harry Potter. It's all these things that take place in like one or usually school setting. And like
yeah.
that's like, sure, that's more just like the machinations of the school.
Yeah, and I think that's where the Harry Potter one like really lost me because I tried that one. I actually downloaded that and played it only the only time I ever played it. I was at a resort for a week and I downloaded it. I was in like the Dominican or something,
Yeah,
and I walked around the resort and played it for like a week, and it was fun. The interface of that was brutal. Like their battle stuff required a lot of attention. Like you had to do specific finger movements to cast the spell properly and stuff, which would also suck. But the deal with it is they're more trying to sell you on you're kind of like an Auror, their police service in the real world, right? Like Harry Potter takes place on our Earth, so I think that's where they try to get away with it a bit more of like, well, because you now have this sort of portal into the wizarding world through the app, you can help us combat the world from like the stuff that muggles can't see is sort of more the way they were doing it.
you play as the police.
Kind of, not necessarily, but that's more I think how they justified it. You know, it's like you're not Harry Potter, you're not a student, but you're learning these things and then you're bouncing around town and fighting more to be honest it's more like Fantastic Beasts and where to find them is a lot more of what it's like.
Okay.
But you're right that it's I don't know. It's limiting. I just found that game really clunky. But if there was like a D&D type of game, that would far more encourage me to get together with my buddies and like go out and do
Do what?
whatever like fighting a raid is in Pokemon Go. You know where you need like 10 people to take down a boss or whatever. I'd be more inclined to do that if it was like five of us who have like collected weaponry and abilities and stuff, and you're slowly developing. But I guess the progression would stop eventually. You don't really want to get to a grindy phase of character development.
Yeah. That's interesting though. You could go on quests and have like multiple characters with you.
Like that's what Pokemon Go is, right? That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sort of. Pokemon Go was much more individual, right?
Not necessarily. Like a big part of what it is now and why people play it is the community aspect. Like it's they do frequent like raids and community days and stuff like that where there are advantages to it doesn't have to be your group of friends necessarily. It's just they'll be at like at noon there's going to be this big boss like downtown. So anybody on the discords and stuff will go there and it's going to take at least 6 people to take it down, and then you'll have a chance to catch it. So make sure that everybody gets there at the same time. So it's that sort of stuff is more what Pokemon Go is about. But I think it's faded. The pandemic was tough for that one.
Yeah.
They tried to do this thing where you could like stay at home and your radius was larger so that you could still search stuff, or you could do battle gyms that were like kilometers away from home. They were doing that for the pandemic just to try to keep people home. But now it's hard to get back from that. I think a lot of the community just does that now after 2 years. They don't go out anymore. So.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad because it was a really cool idea.
I see it across the street from my house all the time because we have a stop, like a gym, a Pokemon gym, or whatever, like the major Niantic flag would be. So whatever game you play, it's like a resource hub. We have one across the street from my house, and I see people there all the time still. I don't know what game they're playing. I don't know if it's the NBA. I don't know if it's Ingress. I don't know if it's Harry Potter. I don't know if it's Pokemon. But, like, kids will get off the bus from school, they'll stop and they'll do it, or there'll be people, like, walking their pets and stuff, and they'll sit at the park, and you just see them, like, swiping Pokeballs, you know?
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah. You're like, I know exactly what you're doing. Sometimes I'm tempted to like download it again just so I can hang out with the people that do that.
Yeah.
Like, walk across and like I've got a decent little Pokemon Go lineup. I could help a raid if they needed a body.
Were you with us when we were doing a lot of the Niantic or a lot of the Ingress stuff?
I think so. I very much remember to be fair, I might have done it on my own. I think you introduced me to it at York, but I definitely remember walking around the Waterloo campus a lot and trying to grab stuff.
That. I really liked that one, the more competitive thing. Like I remember driving around with Chris at night in St. Catharines with a bunch of guys we met, and like trying to like hit up all the St. Catharines locations. That was cool.
It's funny that we don't play it more, considering like the memories that we have, even just in that capacity. Like some of my favorite memories of like walking around the Waterloo campus are doing stuff like that, like on my way to class. Or there was a time where there was a big Pokemon Go community day where they had Entei, the like fire legendary dog, was everywhere. So like every single gym was an Entei for a day pretty much. And so I walked around. I partnered up with like one buddy of mine, Jenny, like both of our partners came, and we were walking around. But by the time we got to campus, there was a group of like 30 kids walking, like 30 people walking around, and we were just going from gym to gym. Like the Discord had organized a loop and we just jumped on it. So by the time we were getting to the gym, we weren't even doing damage. Like it was dead by the time we got there pretty much, and we just had chances to catch them. Which was,
that's all.
And so it's such a unique thing that unites everybody together like that. So it is such a cool, I don't know.
It's a nice game.
It's really interesting. It's just, you look at things like the user interface, the actual game itself is not that dense. So you just get bored of it.
Yeah, maybe there's room for something a little more like in depth there.
This is why I like the idea of like a D&D game that would allow us to walk around like that a little bit, but also that could easily have like a passive mobile interface where you can like kind of see the Forgotten Realms or whatever, where you're like portal jumping back and forth, where it's like you're going to go to Earth to collect stuff, but then when you're not online, maybe, I don't know, something can still be happening. I guess I can see in Pokemon why that couldn't happen, but
yeah, like an idle game, but like it has huge benefits to walking it around and stuff.
Yeah, like acknowledging that a world could still be developing somewhere else. But I wanted to watch a couple live and see. I want to see. I don't think that we're at a point in Blaseball right now where we're going to be able to see chaos really ensue, right?
Not yet. I think that's going to come in the next season. So I think they're just trying to get the website working right now.
Yeah.
the 9 a.m. games. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. They're just
I
starting.
bet on who's Ovo again? Ohio Worms, I think. Yeah. The Ohio Worms. Mechs are already up one.
And yeah, the Moist Talkers are down one already. Yeah, they suck. They suck so bad. Where's Core Mechanics? They're not even from anywhere, right? They're not even like a.
No, they're from the core, which is down. That's all they say is like, if you want to get to the core, you just go down. Wherever you are, you go down.
That's it. That's it. You just go down. It's so simple. I love that their mantra too is "We can fix this." Just whatever it is, we can fix it. Kansas City Breath Mints. They're winning everything. Fresh breath, here we come. This team was forced.
No, gear up, core down, max good, and maximum.
What?
I'm reading like what the chants are for core mechanics teams. Reading the Canadian Moist Talker. Oh, you have no shadow? Oh yeah, you do have shadows.
The Chicago firefighters, their catchphrase is "We are from Chicago." That's it. Not even about them being firefighters. It's just like
the chants for Moist Talkers.
Yeah.
Talk spit. Yeah.
What?
One lot of spit.
Do you know what I watched yesterday? I watched Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy again.
I was thinking about that movie yesterday when I was waiting for the elevator.
I've been listening to the audiobook. It's really good.
Oh, wait, you watched the movie or the audiobook?
I watched the movie, but I'm halfway through the audiobook. The audiobook on YouTube is like 4.5 hours long, so I'm 1.5 times speed or whatever. It's Douglas Adams, too, I think, that's reading it.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's good, yeah.
Yeah, the scene in the movie where they're waiting for the space vacuum door to open and they're looking at it and then the floor drops out.
Yeah. There's so many good lines, so many were driven home in the book too that I forgot about. But yeah, like I was thinking, one of the scenes I cut off at yesterday was Zaphod. No, Beeblebrock. It's Zaphod Beeblebrox, but he's the president. He's the main guy. Who's the? Oh no, it's Havagavula, I think is the guy's name, and he's like a priest, and their religion is that they got blown out of a big sneeze at the beginning of time. Do you remember that? And so they all sneeze in the church, and then he says, "Bless you." That's what this kind of reminds me of. It's like a similar sort of chaotic universe.
Yeah, that's true. This feels very Douglas Adams.
It does, yeah. They had the core batting, running stats. Atlantis, Georgias. You sink, we swim. This one too. The you were telling me about the Wild Wings, the Mexico City Wild Wings, and their line here I don't, to be honest, I won't know how to pronounce it. Passe lo que passe, maybe? Whatever happens. That's what it means. Oh, worm.
He's down 2.
This team was entangled. Because we have entangled. What was... Oh, God. Some of these are just so good. The Charleston Shoe Thieves. Your kicks are our kicks. Just because they're shoe thieves, man. If they're your shoes, they're my shoes. They're our shoes. Alright. It's gonna be... I feel like a student who has procrastinated on their homework for way too long. I feel like I've got like 4 hours of work to do tonight. And
Yeah, this has felt so much like a homework project. It's unreal.
It's so fun, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, whatever. If it doesn't turn out great, who cares?
It'll be fun either way. It'll definitely be fun either way.
It might be less than 3 minutes. Like, it doesn't even matter.
No, it really doesn't.
Not on this. On the future ones, though.
We do have to think, too, next week's a whole other thing. Like, we're not even talking Blaseball after this.
Yeah, tomorrow after the presentation.
Yeah.
Or, well, no, because the presentation will just be a thing you do. It's not like we're not during the live stream.
Yeah, but we can debrief it and just kind of hang out on it, too. But then we got to, figure out what the next challenge is going to be for next week.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking, like, post-mortem and new challenge idea.
Yeah. Do you have any that are like hankering, like any ones that you really want to get into yet?
I haven't really looked.
Okay.
I would have to look again. How about you?
I am. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really have one on the go. I had to. Yeah, well, we started doing a lot of decluttering around my place. Like, I would do like if we wanted to try to, yeah, maybe not. It's like reselling of stuff. Like that would be like a I wouldn't mind
Okay.
getting like a good Facebook system going for like selling stuff on Facebook or Poshmark or like clothing sales. Uh,
Sure.
I want to try to offload a bunch of stuff, and if I can't, then I'll try to donate it afterwards,
Yeah.
probably, or I'll try to find a good home for it. Unless you want to take some dibs at some of my old clothes and stuff, see what would fit. You can have first dibs at it.
Oh hell yeah.
I'll see. I'll try to set some stuff aside. What are you doing this weekend? Are you gonna come down?
Yeah, maybe. I've been pretty like over this place, so maybe.
If you want to. Oh man, I've been trying to get a bit organized here too. Let me show you some stuff. Can I do this?
Yeah.
Just 'cause I'm excited. Okay. This is gonna be. I'll try not to make it too shaky. Also, I want to hopefully not have anything too incriminating back here. So we got a little bit of wall storage up. This was never here before.
Nice.
I followed your page on that. There's a monitor in here that I can like look at stuff while I'm plugging away on this little table,
Yeah.
getting some stuff going. Got this all mounted. There's the label maker. Your label maker.
Oh yeah.
Stole
yeah,
that from you. This is just some boring stuff. What did we have over here? Little tool belt. I don't know,
Yeah.
nothing really there. One thing I got yesterday, though, oh, you're not going to be able to see it now. I'll show you it in a better way. Is part of this like fun demo thing I was doing with my buddy there, of like we're going to try to be working to build out that cafe. It was an old museum before, and they had a lot of, I guess, like presentation boxes that they had built out. So I got a decent sized pane of one-way mirrored glass, and so I made one of those like infinite mirror situations, and I put some like plants and stuff in there to allow the light to resonate more. And I kind of set it up into a shelf I've got over on that side. So when the lights are on, it's kind of sick to look at.
Oh,
So I'll show you that. It's not finished, but I have the glass like set up and strapped down and
that's
stuff.
a project I always wanted. I even bought the one-way mirror stuff, so that's a project I always wanted to take on.
If we get together this weekend, we could build it out. Oh, I also grabbed a bunch of scrap 2x4s and stuff from that demo project. So I've got a bunch of like 6-foot length, 5-foot length kind of pieces of wood and stuff. So if you need any for home, or if you wanted to come and build out something like that, we could do that here too.
That's something we really should with my grandma's barn, like at some point, because that's all barn wood, right? Like that's way more expensive.
Yeah, that's true. It would be fun. I would get down there and pull some stuff out of that at one point. The thing is, we don't really have a vehicle to move anything.
Yeah, like I don't even know where I'd store it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see if maybe one of my buddies up here would do it. The thing is on on Saturday it's one of my good buddies' birthday, so I got to see what he's doing first. But
Okay.
I'm hanging out with my dad on Friday, so. But it might just be like a one-day thing. But we can maybe game plan a little bit more about next week too, over the weekend, just so we don't waste time on Monday morning.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I got to get running though. Back to the work day. But how I'm curious though. 2 weeks in now, almost, of doing this. How are you feeling waking up at this time, like jumping right into this in the morning versus like jumping right into work stuff?
It's getting easier.
Yeah.
I think it helps because we're also chatting a lot too, so it's not like it doesn't feel like brutal work or anything like that.
Are you feeling like it's not as focused as you had wanted it to be though? This like project time?
A little bit, but like I don't know. I gotta figure that out. Like, what do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like we're not like accomplishing as much, but I think the first 2 weeks we gave ourselves didn't really have that much either. Coming up with more social media content and stuff would be the only other sort of like secondary goal maybe that I think we could be doing more on. But it's been nice just to kind of shoot the shit and catch up and get some of the like streaming stuff set up and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's good part of like what I want to do tomorrow is like the postmortem of like how can we organize this better that we get more done.
Yeah.
Or like how can we schedule things a little more like what the week looks like and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe we can be a bit more diligent about that.
Yeah, because this felt a little bit like I'm looking at Blaseball stuff, but that's most of what I've been doing.
Yeah, and I'm not mad about it, but
No.
yeah, but
like I feel like like writing stuff down earlier on. I think I should have had the research portion done by Monday, Tuesday, and then start structuring things Wednesday, Thursday, or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that we should maybe do it in such a way that like we actively try to do maybe not like a Pomodoro thing. I don't know if you're as into that, but trying to do something where it's like we get on, we have a few minutes to chat, and then we just try to like set a timer almost for half an hour of just like plug away and focus on what we think we need to be doing, and then we can recap and chat at the end of the hour or whatever. Maybe that's something to think about, but that's why we're doing it, just to figure it out. Because I agree. I think that there's a lot of like last week was one thing, getting everything set up, but this week I feel like we could have had a different project on the go. But we have one. We've had some good chats. You've given me a lot to think about.
That was the point of this project too, right? Like Blaseball's not that important. It's more like we're figuring out how we can work as a structure.
Well, yeah, and you also it's also maybe a bit different for you because I think you kind of picked your team on like Monday of this week or Tuesday. You were pretty set on who you wanted to cheer for right away.
Yeah,
but I feel like I've been looking a little bit more at that stuff.
It's sort of cheating in a way, but I think because this is like a mini project too, I'm less worried about it. Like I don't want to treat it like this big serious thing yet.
Yeah, it's not a big serious. Dude, we're talking about like numbers on a website.
Yeah, this isn't even in our like reality. This isn't its own reality.
Yeah, so. It has no implication on the rest of our life whatsoever.
Yeah.
Other than maybe like the recording aspect of it. But.
That's true. We're gonna get like really angry fans of like Blaseball come after us because it's like really inaccurate. And
we're moving on. We're Rolling Stone gathering no moss in any of these communities. We are just in 2 weeks. We're invested, and then we're out with a bit of a better understanding.
What Blaseball is, I will not be able to tell you.
Yeah. No, the thing is we will. Like, we'd be able to explain it. We'll have a good in-depth knowledge of the history of the lore, whatever, but that doesn't mean we're going to put time into it every week, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Or at least at that time. One thing I am going to be curious about is when you're doing the streams and stuff, when you're up on Twitch or I'm up on YouTube, you're saving copies of them? The recordings?
I haven't... like via Twitch, saving it via Twitch? Or
no,
saving it?
Just like the files and stuff, because I want to listen back to some of the audio and stuff now.
Yeah.
I
haven't been, and I just closed OBS.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Because I am a little bit concerned about some of the audio. Like, not concerned, but I'm just curious how I haven't really gone too deep into hearing and seeing all the quality of it all when you actually try to edit it and stuff. So I'll be curious to see how that plays out, and that might be more of a weekend project or like a bit of a wrap-up thing tomorrow, maybe.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, my guy.
Some stuff. Okay.
I'm going to head out. Have fun watching. What are we going to watch? Camp 4 Flower Femicon. Into the Wall.
Oh, here we go.
Camp 4 Flower. I almost played AOM last night. It's tempted.
It's not the week yet. It's not the week for AOM.
Oh, God. I can't wait for that week, though. Waking up. The thing is, I will be so driven to crush a Red Bull at like 6 in the morning to be really optimized for AOM first thing in the morning.
Some like in the morning.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Just go online and 1v1 people and just destroy.
Fingers moving so fast.
Yeah, or OD.
Yeah, totally. Enjoy your January 12th.
Yeah, you too.
Later, Skater. Bye.